Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review, and today's review is going to be on Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. Now when this guy was first shown, I immediately wanted it because, well, I missed out on the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, so this was pretty much almost exactly like that. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure this is not a retool. More likely, this is just like shared engineering, but still, well, if I see more, I'm gonna spoil the review. So, let's just move on to the box. And of course, we've got the Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging, because, yeah, if for some reason they decided that this guy should be a store exclusive, I have no idea why, but yeah, sure. And we're looking at the box. Of course, we've got the standard lack of a window. Here we've got Primal as one of the characters on the side instead of Megatron. This guy is 102 in the Studio Series line, just with a BB for, I guess, Buzzworthy Bumblebee. This side we've got a picture of Optimus Prime. Back we've got him in both modes. Of course, big screen inspired. Describes what the included backdrop is, and it says what he does in the film. And for said backdrop, of course, we got the faux backdrop that he's tied to, but for the actual backdrop, well, we got this, and of course, I've unfortunately yet to see the film because, well, I unfortunately just couldn't get to a cinema when it came out, but I do really want to get it on Blu-ray, so I can't really comment on what the scene is meant to be, but I still quite like how this looks. And I suppose if we put Prime in his truck mode here, of course he's not really going to fit that well, because these are more intended for the robot modes. But you could maybe sort of replicate when we first saw the filming shots, when Prime was like driving in his truck mode. But yeah, we'll come back to this in the robot mode. And well, moving on to the truck mode. Of course, this is how Optimus looked in Rise of the Beasts. Pretty much just a stylized version of G1 Prime's truck mode. Just with some added, I guess, eyebrows. I don't know what you call these little things on top of the windows. And this front bit on the grill. I guess, isn't this called a roll bar or something? Or this cage? But yeah, I really like how this looks. Yeah, it gives a more, I guess, realistic look to it. Of course, if you want a full-on G1 look, you can just get the Buzzworthy, not Buzzworthy, the Bumblebee movie Studio Series Optimus. Well, going on for a full-on 360 look. Of course, we've got this side stripe. We've got the smokestacks. Just in this grey plastic. We've got the truck bed, which is not just the back of the legs. It actually does transform in a way. His sword is plugged into the legs, which is part of the instructions. But we can just see his feet there. You can see that the canisters pretty much work exactly like how they do on the air fries figure, and they're just as easy to push in, unfortunately. Got these bits, which are the side skirts, and I think they're meant to tab in, but yeah, they don't really do so. Likewise, I'm pretty sure the front grille section is meant to tab in, but for the life of me, I just can't get it to tab in. But I guess this is a good segue to the front of the truck, which I just love the detail on this. Got the windshield wipers. Got, I guess it's, I'm not sure, but maybe in the film there's an auto insignia there. I'll have to watch to confirm it, but got the actual grille, which is behind this cage section. We do have this grey bit, but that's actually because this is where the head is. Got these bits which flip out for the transformation. Got this panel which is housing some auto insignias for the robot mode. These blue bits which are the robot shins. And I actually really like that style of transformation because, like most truck transformations for Optimus, the legs just barely transform. Like you just, I don't know, close up the feet, maybe turn the waist, and that's it. But with this, the legs have just as much involvement in the transformation as the front bit does. So yeah. See underneath, well, we can pretty much just see where the sword plugs in to one of the legs, and there's a little housing spot for it. But yeah, overall, this truck mode is really detailed. So moving on to the accessories. Well, of course, one of the accessories is already plugged in. That's the sword, but we do have another one. That being his cannon. Of course, his hand transforms into the cannon in the trailer, and then he says, "Let them come," which, of course, achieved meme status afterwards. I'm pretty sure you can tell why. But this actually can store on the truck mode, because we have these bits sticking out. I mean, they are kind of distracting. I wish these could, like, fold in if you're not using them if you're not using them to store these. I wish these could just fold in, but yeah, well, I just have to find a quick tab. I'll just do this off camera, because otherwise I'm going to embarrass myself doing this. There we go. So that just plugs in like so. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle modes. Overall, I really like this. I mean, if I were to compare it with the Bumblebee movie version, well, that's the thing, I can't. I don't have it, but I'm not sure which one I would prefer. So, yeah. Now, moving on to the transformation. Well, starting off, let's remove the cannon here. And, well, I noticed the transformation, I'm fairly certain that this does, well, of course it takes cues from the Bumblebee movie version of the figure, but I think it also takes a few cues from other Optimus figures, and I'll mention those when we get to them. So, starting off, well, let's raise the camera first. But pushing the gas canisters, obviously that reminds me of Earthrise Optimus. Take the front section, just to extend that out. Take what's going to be the shin sections, untab them, they plug into the smokestacks. Split the legs. Remove the sword, set that off to the side. Get the feet out. The feet going in like that reminds me of the Prime RID figure, because I have the I do have the Ultra Magnus, but that's in storage. But that does remind me of that. Get the feet rotated like so. Rotate these sections around. And that's pretty much the legs all done. Now for the front section, take these flaps, move them up, and there reveals the Autobot insignia. Come here to the top, open up these panels. I'll let you move the forearms out. Flip around the front wheels. Flip around these gray sections here. Get the arms out. Obviously, very typical Optimus Prime transformation there with the arms. However, we actually moved them up on this hinge. In fact, I think it's better to actually move them up first. And then get the arms down. Spin the top section around, which reminds me of Classics Optimus Prime. Just get that all tabbed in. Take the grill, tab that into the back. With the arms, we're just going to close up these panels, rotate that around and get the hand out. There we go. And also rotate this panel around. So do the same here, close these panels. Rotate this up. Rotate the forearm around. Open this, get the hand out. Then finally, open up the doors, not the doors, the windows. Get the head out, which reminds me of Siege Optimus. Just push that in, close the windows back up. And, well, that is Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus in robot mode. And that's actually a really fun transformation. just the way that everything moves around, the way that the way that it incorporates transformation elements from a bunch of other Prime figures. I just think it's really fun. Now, what is intentional, like the feet transformation coming from the Prime RID figure, the head transformation coming from the Siege figure, the torso rotation coming from the Classics figure? Probably not. It's probably just coincidental, but I still think it's really fun. Now, going in for a 360. Now, the back is obviously just like the Bumblebee movie figure. So, if you were to compare them, they'd obviously look the same. So, I'm pretty sure that's a shared part, just retooled. Looking at the head, I think I remember reading that they actually based Prime's head off of Peter Cullen's head in this film, so yeah, that's a fun fact. Well, for his accessories, of course, we've got the cannon and sword, and if you're not using them, these can actually go in the back. So I could just go into there. And I could just plug into there. So you do have that option. But of course, well, we have to flip in one of his hands for this. You can plug the cannon into that peg, and the sword, well, he can't hold it, but the box art shows him just plugged into his forearm, if I remember. So yeah, and for blast effect compatibility, well, I mean, that does kind of get in the way, so maybe we just look for another blast effect. Yeah. Like, it does fit, however, this bit does get in the way, so yeah. However, now you can do that famous let them come pose if you want. So yeah. Well, I don't think there's much else to say, because so let's move on to the articulation. Well, the head's on a ball joint, so if you want to do a silver streak, which don't, yeah, the head can of course look up and down, and can look side to side. The arms can move. Unfortunately, he's got trigger-happy shoulders, just due to the transformation. He's got elbows both ways. Got bicep rotation. The hands can rotate. Waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far. Back, not that far. If you move these out of the way, he can of course do the splits. Got a swivel there. It's got knees. Got ankle pivot. And the feet can move a little bit. So, yeah. And the way that I'm sitting, I'm actually getting really uncomfortable just because, well, yeah, I'm starting to. I've got a track underneath my table now, so I think I might have to really keep my recording set up after this video. So let's just end this here before I permanently break my back. I think I'll do a short showing my track, but anyway. So, complaints on this guy. Well, as amazing as his figure is, I think one complaint is I'm not really a fan on the fact that you have to flip the hand around to plug this in. It's very minor, however, but yeah, that's honestly one of the only complaints I can think of, and that just shows how amazing this guy is. In fact, I think that's probably like the only complaint I can think of. Well, I mean, it can be kind of fiddly to try and get these times in for the truck mode. But other than those, I can't really think of any other complaints. So yeah, this is just that good a figure. So, do I recommend him? Well, I'm gonna say definitely, like, dude, I am loving this figure. Like, in fact, yeah, like, I'm just speechless of how much I love this figure. Like, it's probably not a retool of the Bumblebee movie Optimus, but it's definitely just as good as that figure, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you have that figure, if you don't have that figure, if you're a fan of Rise of the Beast, if you're a Prime collector, then yeah, I definitely do recommend this figure. So, yeah. So this has been my review on Buzzworthy Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus, and this is Charlie Young signing off.